And what was the root of most of my anxiety and my OCD and my basically almost all my anxiety was bullying. But it wasn't just bullying, but it was some, abuse, a little bit of abuse from home, but most of the abuse, 80 to 90% of it came from school. Almost all of it, yeah, came from school. But here's what I just realized. I just realized that my inclusion director had and has narcissistic personality disorder. I didn't know. I didn't even think there was anything wrong with her. I'm like, why is she always singling me out? What did I do to her that she's treating me like this? I'm like, what did I do? What's wrong with me? Why? Is it because I have autism? Is it because I'm Jewish? What did I do for her to treat me this way? What did I do? I was thinking to myself all the time for all these years. I was thinking, what did I do? What did I do? What did I deserve? Is it because I'm such a negative person? Is it because I'm such a pessimist that God is punishing me this way? No. It is because she has something wrong with her herself. She has NPD. And I just connected the dots. There were these incidents that happened that I was able to connect them. And it was like, bingo. She's a narcissist. Not like, no, but like actual proof she's a narcissist. Not just like, oh, she's a narcissist, throwing labels around. No. So at first, we got along, and then the bullies began picking on me. She never punished them. But for me, during recess, if it was too cold, I had to be inside. I already told you I made another video about my experience with bullying, about how she would not allow me to use a computer if she felt I did anything that she did not approve of. Especially if I didn't do it and then I was talking back to her. Talking back to her basically got her really mad, and she would punish me more for talking back. Basically, trying to prove myself innocent, I would get in more trouble. She basically make it so. She was trying to make it almost impossible for me to stand up for myself, but I never stopped. I was always out against injustice wherever it was, because I dealt with injustice for a long time in my life before then too. And I basically wanted to stomp out injustice wherever it was. If I felt anything was unjust, I wanted to correct it immediately. And I basically let her have it if she was not treating me right. So, 3 key things happened that made me now realize she has narcissistic personality disorder. First of all, the obvious one was being treated unfairly, always being punished for things I didn't do. But here's the 2 other things that made me realize she has NPD. And it is basically making the drama between other people. Remember that incident about where I was pushed down the stairs? There was another student in the room. And I always assumed it was... No, she try to make me think it was him. I had a meltdown where I tried to rip his jacket. She was the only one there. There was no one else in the room when I tried to rip his jacket. She gaslighted me, telling me that student was in the room at the time. There might have been. I think, yeah, there was. And she said, I'm like, you did it. I immediately assumed it was her. Right off the bat. Knowing her personality, I immediately assumed it was her. And she told me, no. Blah, blah, blah did it. I'm like, how? He never bullies me. He said, well, maybe. And you know what she told me? This horrible. She actually said this, and I remembered this. Maybe those 2 are more friends to each other than you are to him. Basically implying that he thinks less of me. I was so hurt, because that is the one person who always looked out for me. And she made me think he was out against me. I was so hurt. I was just so hurt by what she did, by what she made me think. And I believed it for quite some time. But I asked him, why did you do this? Why did you And he was like, I never did that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I never did it. I'm like, and I believed him. I'm like, I'm sorry I thought that. I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to say her name. So Miss M, because Miss M said that you did it. I'm like, she's lying. I'm like, I believe you. I'm like, Miss M, why did you tell him? Why did you tell me that he did it when I knew when you did it? You always lie to me. I don't trust you. And she's like, oh, that's not true. And then anyway, I tried to go to the principal's office, and she basically threatened to punish me if I went to the principal's office, using fear and intimidation, trying to, because the computer was basically my only friend. I had no friends at all, and using the computer was the only thing that basically made me happy, and she tried to take that away from me for setting up for myself. And then a year later, another incident happened. A student with IED, intermittent explosive disorder, he knew where I lived because one time I was joking with him. I'm like, I dared him, like, basically, that, he said, give me your address. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you my address. Because, I always considered him just to be a funny kid, Yeah, he bullies me around, but at least I knew there was something, at least I knew for him there was something wrong with him. Because he blew up at everything, everybody. I tried to be friends with him, tried to be nice to him, but if I said anything that he didn't like, he basically blew up and tried beating me up several times. So I realized it was just, I know even today, I realized it was IED. Even back then, I looked up what, I heard it was something called intermittent explosive disorder, looked it up, and all the symptoms matched. I knew from the way he acted, he had ADHD. I read the symptoms of ADHD, had all of them. He was very hyper, and had huge outbursts, like, whoa, big, like, huge. Basically, he went to my house, to my apartment, looking for me. Somebody in my building lived with the same surname as me, Yagudayev. But, turns out, I lived with my grandparents, who had my mom's maiden name. So, because I lived with my maternal parents. So he was trying to buzz the wrong apartment. And in the Bukharian community, there are a lot of people who have the last name Yagudayev. A lot. So it's like basically Smith in America. It's a very common last name. Anyway, she said, guess where he went? I'm like, where? Because I didn't know. He said, he went to your house. I'm like, yeah, right. He was like, I had to chase him. So she snitched on him to me. And and she wasn't like being serious about it. She was being like sing-songish, like teasingly about it. Like, he went to your house. I remember how she said it. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like no. It was more like a little smirk on her face, not basically thinking it was funny. Whenever something bad happened to me from another student, she thought it was funny. She was just a nasty person. And I remember everything about how she was. She was not a nice person. And there was another person who was kind of like her who I met. And he just made my blood boil to the point of blowing up. Because he reminded me so much of her. And it wasn't that at the special needs school I went to in Boston. He basically was like that with me as well. And it just made my blood boil. Because he was basically another version of her. And anybody who basically is narcissistic towards me or taunts me about, making fun of me in that kind of way just makes my blood boil. But now, of course, I have a better control of my emotions. I mean, I've never physically assaulted anybody, but that second time I was sick. So when I blew up, he let another student sleep who was not sick at all. I had 101 fever. Well, and I was dizzy. I almost passed out, and he wouldn't let me lay down in bed. While another student was allowed to sleep in his room. And he told me, no, you can't lay down. I'm like, why? I'm sick. And he said, I don't care. He says, ask me if I care. Like, being very, very just nasty about it. Like, and I just blew up because I was already short fused because I was sick. And he, by not letting me sleep and telling me he doesn't care that I'm sick, pushed me over the edge. It just completely pushed me over the edge. And I punched several holes in the wall. Deliberately, yeah, to get my point across. That this kind of treatment I'm not going to tolerate. I've dealt with it my whole life, and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. And basically he took me to the nurse. And I had 101 fever. And it was a flu I had. I think the swine flu, because I had sore throat, and I had diarrhea, I had severe nausea, headache. So it was definitely the swine flu, because it did not start out with an upset stomach. Towards the middle to end, I noticed GI symptoms. But in the beginning, it was throat symptoms, some fatigue, muscle aches. That morning I woke up, I noticed feeling just very weak, lethargic. And then, with a sore throat. And then I noticed the stomach ache and the nausea towards the middle to end of the day. And the diarrhea happened the next day. But that's going too long. So I'm still going to title this video about anxiety. And part 1 will be the first video. This will be the second video. So if anyone's interested about why I'm like this is why. I'm going to write a book about this experience. I'm thinking about writing a book about my bullying experience. And about what it was like to go through it. It'll also be about overcoming it too. I mean, there are narcissists all over the place. And, I mean, sometimes people everybody has sometimes some narcissistic traits. Or some, manipulative traits. But I was always told I manipulate other people. But I never manipulate people. I'm always honest with people. People always think, oh, you're so manipulative. You're so, like this. You're so this. But they're the ones who are being manipulative. The manipulative person is calling me manipulative. Basically calling me what they really are. That's what narcissists do all the time. They basically put their own faults on another person, project their own failures on another person. Literally. Freaking literally. Like that. Like, I failed a test. Well, you failed the test. Or say I'm the narcissist. I failed the test. And I'm blaming you, saying you're the failure. That's what narcissists do. That's what they've always done. Some narcissists are more subtle about it. But some narcissists are open about it. It's obvious that person is a narcissist. And that the inclusion director, is pretty obvious. There's something off about her. Her signaling out that one person who's behaving the best for the worst punishment, it's like, what kind of person does that in the right mind, does something like that? And I always felt she had something against me. And guess what? I was right. She does. Because I was the one who pointed out her failures right to her face. Thank you for watching. Bye.